Hello everyone and welcome to today's A History of Splatt in 100 Objects. This is going to be item number 10 in the list, so we are, well, 10% of the way through, so there we go. Today's object is from back in my childhood. A little bit of the backstory, but it is without a doubt one of my best memories from childhood. I was about 10 years old, I believe. I was still in primary school. In fact, I would have been younger than 10. I think I would have been 9, maybe. 9 or 10. I was young, anyway. And obviously this was a time when my favourite television shows were Red Dwarf, which was round about season 7, roughly, I think, at that time, and Robot Wars, which had been going for a couple of years and was just the best thing ever. And the one thing those two shows had in common was Craig Charles, who was an actor in Red Dwarf. He was playing the role of Lister, and in Robot Wars he was the host of the show, the presenter, and he was very, very cool, essentially, is what I thought at the time. Yeah, I was a big fan of his. He was the first sort of, I suppose you could say, one of the first sort of idols of mine, I suppose. And, looking at it now, he's perhaps not the best role model to have, but he was just somebody who made me laugh quite a lot, and I'm still a big fan of his stuff. He's in Coronation Street nowadays, and it does make me pretty happy to see him there as a cabbie type thing. Anyway, point is, at the time I was living on the Isle of Man, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a small island located in the Irish Sea in between England and Ireland. And I was living there with, my parents, my family, and Craig Charles was doing a stand-up tour around the island at that time. I believe the show may have been Sick Bag. I can't remember which one it was. Point is, I was much too young to go see it. It was an 18-plus show, so obviously I couldn't go. And, I was a little disappointed, because I'd really have liked to have gone and seen him. My mum knew this, and, bless her, she managed to somehow get in touch with Craig Charles's agent while he was on the island, and basically said, look, is there any way for, my son to come and meet Craig Charles? And basically they arranged it so that I could go meet Craig Charles at the airport before he flew out. So I got the morning off school, I was all dressed up quite nice. My mum and my dad both went with me. It would have been about 10 in the morning, I think. I was very excited waiting in the airport. It was exciting because I was in an airport. I'd never been on a plane at that point in my life, so that was fairly exciting. But I was more focused on the fact that I was going to meet Craig Charles. This is brilliant. And, he came in. He actually came to the airport, as I remember it, a good 20 minutes earlier than he needed to, just so that I could meet with him. And it was brilliant. We sat in the airport, and he was dressed in some pretty, snazzy clothes, as he's prone to do. And, I basically got to talk to Craig Charles for what felt like ages. It was a good long chat. He was very, very nice to me and very polite. And he was just an absolutely wonderful man. He was really, really, good with me. And with my parents, they got to ask him the odd question. I was basically just asking stuff about, like Red Dwarf, and going, that bit where you ate the dog food, was that really dog food? And he said, no, it was actually cat food, and it was really gross. And it was just brilliant that he answered all these questions of mine. And yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, he did have to go, sort of to catch his plane, but we'd spoken for ages. I was super stoked. I was really happy. And as he left, he kissed me. On the cheek. And he did the same to my mum and my dad. So, it was a very strange experience, but it was absolutely brilliant. And while I was there, I did manage to get his autograph, which I then put into, oops, I get some fun computer there. I managed to get his autograph, which I have now in a scrapbook, which includes cuttings from Robot Wars and Red Dwarf and things like that. And Pokemon, I'm noticing, so I've got some Pokemon stickers on the same page. But yes, this is the possession in question. It is an autograph from Craig Charles. Now I know you can't really see it very well. There we go. So it says, to Stephen, all the best, Smeghead, Craig Charles, and then just below, I got a couple of pictures of him with that, his head exploding before and after. Yes, so this is item number 4, item number 10, I should say, in the History of Splatt and 100 Objects. It is an autograph from Craig Charles, and it is one of my absolute favourite memories from childhood. And yes, so there you go. And it's it's just a wonderful reminder of that time in my childhood when I was loving that sort of thing. And obviously, I should take this opportunity to say a massive, thank you and I love you to my mum and dad who arranged all that. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, that's all for today. Very happy trip down memory lane for me. I hope you'll all join me tomorrow for more Daily Splatt.